Hello everybody and welcome back. Been quite a while since I've last seen you. It's quite a difficult time for photographers at the moment. Here in the UK we're not really allowed out for very much, and I'm classed as being clinically vulnerable because I've got diabetes, so I'm basically under house arrest. So yeah, it's been not really very friendly towards photographers the last sort of 6 months to a year. Hopefully this year though things are going to change and we'll be able to get outside and actually take some pictures and develop some films, etc. So today we're kind of starting with series 2, the year 2021, and to begin with I'm going to go through the top 10 videos I've made so far by popularity. So the reason I have this rather nice, very small Minox 35 GL here is this is number 10. We're doing a top 10 today of the top 10 videos that I've made. Nice small camera, very light, very portable. It's got this protective cover for the lens. When you open it up it turns the camera on. It's 35mm, zone focusing, which means you basically got to guess or get a measuring tape out. This one is aperture priority, I believe, if I can remember right. I will put links to each of these videos individually below. But yeah, somewhat unreliable. The shutters on these are not particularly reliable, and it's not really a camera I'd recommend buying second hand without checking it out first to make sure it is working, because very often the ones that you find on eBay and probably Craigslist in the US usually have this shutter problem, have a shutter issue. They do rely on batteries that fit in behind this little door here. I can zoom you in, as you may have noticed. I've sort of changed the layout here. Great lenses, very sharp, very nice in black and white, simple to use. The main thing is the portability. If you can get a reliable one at a reasonably good price, highly recommended. So that is camera number 10. There's no batteries in this one. Coming in at number 9, go from one extreme to the other. I'm probably going to have to zoom out for this one. This is the Nikon F5. This is a beast of a camera. 1990s, was a professional model really. It's a film camera, even though it looks very much like a digital camera. If I put this next to a D3, you'd be hard pushed to tell the difference between them. All singing, all dancing, does everything for you. Easy loading for film, advances it with a little motor inside, rewinds it with another motor inside. Can shoot a ridiculous frame rate. I think it's on like 8 or 9 frames a second this thing shoots at. Quite advanced, but very heavy. Not a camera you really want to carry around all day, although press guys carry 2 of these around normally, or 2 of the digital equivalents. Takes a lot of batteries, which adds even more to the weight. This is heavy enough without the batteries in it. But yeah, this runs on 8 AA batteries. So yeah, very heavy, very reliable. Great thing with this is you can use it with near enough all Nikon lenses. It's an autofocus camera, auto exposure, manual exposure, everything you could ever want in a camera. Not that expensive now. I think I paid £125 for this one. Does have over 500,000 shots on it, but still it's working fine, and I very much doubt I'll probably even take another 100,000 on it, so don't be worried about high shutter count with these. The shutters are very reliable, self-adjusting. Again, highly recommended if you really want a solid workhorse. You can do some damage with one of these. You can drop it and it's not really going to be a problem. The lens is probably going to break. This has got an AF nickel 50mm on it. Works just fine. Not that many focus points, but yeah, great cameras. That's number 9. Next, we have a camera that quite surprised me that it appeared in the top 10, and that is this Konica TC. I can zoom you in a bit on this one because it's smaller. There's a lot of these kicking about. Main thing with Konica is the lenses. The camera bodies are pretty irrelevant. Any of them are okay-ish. It's the lenses, the quality of the lenses from Konica were exceptional, and they are extremely affordable, i.e. cheap, for the quality that you get. They're up there with the best of the Canon and Nikon lenses, I think, personally. Strange lens mount. They're not very easy to adapt to digital cameras, that's why they're not really that desirable. A bit like FD lenses. They do work well on mirrorless, so that situation might change, but there's a lot of these turning up. It's a shutter priority camera, so you set the shutter speed and it chooses the aperture, which is a little bit unusual. There's no program mode on it. It's a standard wind on and fire. Completely manual. It does take a battery for the metering and the auto functions, but it will work quite happily without a battery in manual mode. Nice cameras, even nicer lenses, and that is number 9. Oh yeah, this has got a button on the back to turn it off again. Again, 35mm SLR. A lot of them about, not particularly expensive, and the lenses are also very, very affordable. Highly recommended. Coming in at number 7, we have this. This is a Konica C35 autofocus. This is the world's first autofocus camera. It uses a passive autofocus system developed by Honeywell and produced under license by Konica. So this camera autofocuses. When you cock the shutter, it focuses to infinity, and then when you press the shutter, it readjusts the focus to where it thinks the subject actually is. Good system actually. Pop-up flash. They're quite widely available. It's quite rare to find them with the original lens cap. Quite clever really, because it blocks the viewfinder, so there's no way you can leave the lens cap on because you can't see anything through the viewfinder. But yeah, autofocus, manual film advance, manual rewind. Again, 35mm camera. And it's an autofocus camera, which is quite nice with a built-in flash. Again, quite light, quite portable, because it's a Konica. Great lens, of course. Great for street photography. Highly recommended. Number 6, we're really going back a bit with this one. This camera must be, what, 60, 70 years old. And this is a Zeiss. It's a Zeiss Icon Contina. Beautiful looking camera. Proper metal. There's not a lot of plastic in this at all. Zeiss glass, so yeah, it's going to be pretty good. It does feature a built-in light meter. I think you have to push it on the side if I remember. There's a selenium cell viewfinder. It does have a light meter. Again, 35mm. Can't remember if this is a rangefinder or not. No, it's not a rangefinder, it's a guess the distance. So you can see all the settings are on the lens. If I zoom in, you can hopefully see all the settings, the shutter speed and the aperture are on the lens, and so is the focusing. Very, very loose on this one. But yeah, another nice, beautifully designed, completely manual. Doesn't need a battery, the meter runs on selenium cells. Yeah, very, very nice. Again, very well regarded. Quite a lot of them about, because they don't really break, to be honest. They are very well built. The shutter button's in the middle of there, in case you wondered. Very quiet, very discreet. But yeah, beautifully built, German quality. Very, very nice. Right, coming in at number 5, we have this beast. This is from the 80s. Oh, let's get the focus sorted out. Zoom our way out. This is the Canon T90, 80s camera. Looks very similar even to some other later Canons. And this was the sort of all singing, all dancing camera of the FD line. I know the Canon F1 was probably the top of the range, but to me this one was. It had all the different kinds of meeting, aperture priority, shutter priority, program mode. It's got a built-in winder and motor drive and a film advance. It even rewinds the film for you automatically. And you can see it's LCD and very 80s, push buttons. Far from the traditional sort of camera. It's got this wheel on it, very similar to the latest Canons you buy today, to be fair. Again, 35mm SLR, uses FD mount lenses. Quite affordable actually, FD lenses. They're starting to go up in price now. But yeah, very nice camera. I had one of these new in, I think it was about 1986, I think, when it came out. just before the launch of the EF system. I invested quite heavily into this and some lenses, and then Canon brought out the EF system. This mount then became totally redundant and prices of lenses and cameras dropped. These again, quite hard to find one in good working order. They do have issues with the shutter. They do have errors that come up. Very, very cheap if they're not working. If you can get a good reliable working one and look after it, use it, it will last. Again, heavy metal, very well constructed. So that's the Canon T90. At number 4, not really surprising that this is in the top 10, we have the Yashica 35. It's a whole series of these, chrome and black. There's GTs, GTNs, GS and GSN models. This one's got a dink in the filter thread there, so it's obviously been dropped, but it hasn't really done it any damage. Issue with these is a thing called the pad of death. When you advance the film, you should hear that clunk. Hear that clunk? If you don't hear that clunk, then there's something wrong with the camera. That clunk is healthy in the case of these. Rangefinder camera, great lenses. This is back when Yashica were top of their game, really. And yeah, any of these are highly recommended as long as they're working. The pad of death does give metering issues. These lights show you under and overexposure up the top here. So yeah, you need to be careful when you're buying these or when you're looking at them in thrift stores, etc. But yeah, if you can find a working one, they are a great camera. And it's quite understandable why this whole series is in the top 10. I probably get more questions about these cameras than anything else. There's so many of them out there that have got pad of death issues and various other issues, stuck shutters, etc. So they're not particularly reliable, but then they are old cameras. You know, these are dating from the late 60s, early 70s, I think. So yeah, but yeah, lovely, heavy, solid metal, Japanese quality. Yeah, you can't really go wrong. Great lenses. Just make sure you get one that's in good working order. Number 3, a bit of a shocker, is another Voigtlander. Zoom in a bit on that one. Get my hand out of the way. I haven't got my lighting quite sorted out right here yet. Again, Voigtlander glass, can't go wrong. It's got a built-in light meter. You can see the needle on the top there moving. Match needle system. Rather strange advance lever. Doesn't feel that well engineered inside, but yeah, they are top quality cameras. And all the dials on the lens again. And the shutter release is this rather unusual. Down on this side down here. This one is a rangefinder camera, so it has a matched coupled rangefinder in there, so as you turn the focusing you align the two images, shutter speeds and apertures, etc. It's all set on the lens, which is quite makes it quite easy to use. Again, 35mm, all these cameras are 35mm. There's no medium format 120 cameras in the top 10, understandably. 35mm is much more economical to shoot, and there's a wider choice of film stocks available. But yeah, the Voigtlander Vito series is very, very popular. There seems to be an awful lot of these about. There seems to be in a lot of people's attics, and a lot of people are finding them. And they tend to still be working. They're quite reliable. Again, German engineering, completely manual, no batteries required. Really quiet and discreet camera. Very, very nice. Coming in at number 2, we have another of the Canon T series. This time it's the T70, which is the one that I quite like, the T70s. This has got the rather horrible plasticky lens on it. Let's zoom you out a bit so you can see more of that. Move these caps out of the way, that's a bit distracting. FD mount, motorised film advance, very electronic, as you can see on the top. Zoom in, it's all push buttons and LCDs again. It's got various different modes on it. Runs on quite readily available batteries. I think this runs on AAs if I remember right. Long time since I used one of these. Open the battery compartment. Yeah, it runs on AAs, generally available everywhere. Again, 35mm SLR FD mount. Has various different modes on it. Surprisingly, there's no A series cameras in this top 10, which I was a bit surprised about, to be honest. A series cameras were 1970s, these were really 1980s, the T series. Bit of an acquired taste in the looks department, very plasticky. No real common issues with them, the shutters can jam up. And I have issues with the deteriorating foam, as you see on quite a lot of these older cameras. But yeah, very nice. And yeah, you just have to deal with the looks, but yeah, it looks quite different. Again, lenses, a lot of lenses available in FD mount, and again, very affordable or cheap. And yeah, the T70 is quite a good camera to start with, because you can use it in almost automatic mode, and then as you learn and progress you can shift more into using manual settings. Once you've got the hang of metering, begin to learn what you're doing. So it is a good camera to start with, because it will give you some degree of progression as you learn more and more. But yeah, there's a lot of these about, not very expensive. Here in the UK you can pick up a T70 body working for sort of £15–20. So again, compared to the cost of film, they're very, very cheap. Nice cameras, quite chunky. Number one by a long, long margin. I don't quite know what it is with me and the T series, but my number one video is the Canon T50. This is the baby version of the T series, again 1980s. You can see the family resemblance. This one is a program only. You can see on the top. I zoom in that way. It only has self-timer mode, program, a lock and a battery check. So this one is really a point and shoot with interchangeable lenses. It does have a motor to advance the film, but you have to rewind it manually, just like the T70. It takes FD mount lenses, so there's some nice glass for it. It's available cheap. Again, runs on AA batteries. Very cheap to buy. And this is the number one, which is a little bit surprising, but there's obviously a lot of these turning up, and a lot of people are coming to see how you use one. Ideal beginner camera for somebody who's coming over from, say, using a smartphone that does everything for you. This one you don't have to worry about exposure or film advance. Very easy to use, and yeah, I think anyone could pick this up. Even a child could pick this up and use it quite easily. None of these cameras feature screens on the back, they're not digital. Film, you have to send it away, get it developed and wait for it to come back. You don't see the results instantly. Although we're living in a hybrid world, so people shoot film but then they scan the film to produce an image. I don't really call it a photograph. A photograph to me is something that you can hold in your hand, not a print either, which comes out of an inkjet. I'm talking about a proper photograph, an analogue photograph developed in chemicals. But yeah, ideal starter camera, but yeah, not a lot of room for growth, if you like. If you just want to get out and take some pictures, not a bad choice. Very, very cheap, £10–15 for a body. Lenses, up to you, sky's the limit. This is not a bad lens, this is a standard 1/8 single coated lens or spectra coated lens. But yeah, that is the number one camera in this top 10 list. Right, I've taken up quite enough of your time. Thank you very much for watching. I'd like to thank each of you that subscribed, because we've actually broken through the 1,000 subscribers, which is absolutely amazing. I was sort of gobsmacked when I saw that, when Google sent me an email saying, oh, you've got 1,000 subscribers. It's like, wow, I never thought that many people would be interested in my old junk. But thank you very much. And as usual, a like and a comment and all that usual sort of YouTube stuff is more than welcome. I've been looking at the analytics, and America's by far the biggest market for viewers, and people in the age group 18 to 34, which is very encouraging. So I am thinking of expanding into doing some photography 101 basics, things like metering and focusing, etc. Just drop a comment down and let me know if you're interested in that kind of thing, or is it really just gear you want to see. I have still got a lot of gear to get through, but looking at the analytics, it seems that quite a lot of people are going to be potentially shooting film for the first time, and maybe they could do with a helping hand. Of course, I'm always here to answer questions, etc. You can always email me at thephotographersbag@gmail.com, or leave something in a comment. I do read them all, and I try and respond to all of them. Again, thank you for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.